Check this out, my friends. The rumored adaptation of the popular trilogy is still circulating. Now let's get into the article. This is from Geekosity, written by Kyron Bug and Mikey Sutton, Heir to the Empire in development to be Disney Plus's first Star Wars film. This article shares the rumored Heir to the Empire adaptation to be filmed for Disney Plus is now in production. No evidence by the company has been revealed as of yet. This highlights the coming show Ahsoka as well, whom is looking for Thrawn, and also is revealing Mara Jade will debut in the new lore. You can read this article in its entirety. The link is in the description. Now let's break this down. How it is impossible to adapt Heir to the Empire into Disney Star Wars faux lore. There are many reasons why Mara Jade would not fit in the Disney Star Wars faux lore. Therefore, she would be in name only. One obvious reason is she was not present at Thrawn's promotion in the Disney Star Wars faux lore. In the Heir to the Empire audible clip, which I'm sharing here, it shares she was at Thrawn's promotion engagement.
"All right then," Mara said. "We met once, during the public dedication of the new assemblage wing of the Imperial Palace on Coruscant. At that ceremony, the Emperor introduced me to you as Lyanna, one of his favorite dancers. Later, during the more private ceremony that followed, he revealed to you my true identity."
"And what was that private ceremony?"
"Your secret promotion to the rank of Grand Admiral."
"You wore a white dress to both ceremonies," he said. "Aside from the sash, the dress had only one decoration. Do you recall what that decoration was?"
Mara had to think back. "It was a small shoulder sculpt," she said slowly. "Left shoulder. A Ziquine design as I remember."
"It was indeed."
Thrawn reached to his control board, touched a switch, and abruptly the room was filled with hollows of shoulder sculpts on ornate pillars.
"The one you wore is somewhere in this room. Find it."
She'd had an excellent memory once, one which the Emperor's training had made even better. Focusing her thoughts, fighting upstream against the disquieting aura of this place, she concentrated. "That's it," she said, pointing to a delicate filigree of gold and blue. Thrawn's expression didn't change, but he seemed to relax a little in his seat.
"Welcome back, Emperor's Hand."
This is a major subplot, and Mara Jade not being a part of Thrawn's promotion weakens her relationship with the Emperor and Thrawn.
"You will kill Luke Skywalker."
The Rebels, and later the Mandalorian shows, shares Sabine and Ahsoka are looking for Ezra and Thrawn. Zero BBY, during the blockade of Lothal, Grand Admiral Thrawn's 7th Fleet was attacked by Purgles. They ripped through the viewports of the Chimera with Thrawn and Ezra inside and disappeared with them and the ship. The 7th Fleet, including Palion's ship, were all destroyed.
Ezra's out there somewhere, and it's time to bring him home.
In Heir to the Empire, it shares the Chimera with Pelion at command watched the destruction of the Death Star 2 and the Imperial fleet.
The Executor, out of control, colliding with the unfinished Death Star, and then disintegrating completely in the battle station's massive explosion. The loss of the ship itself had been bad enough, but the fact that it was the Executor had made it far worse. That particular superstar destroyer had been Darth Vader's personal ship. And despite the Dark Lord's legendary and often lethal capriciousness, serving aboard it had long been perceived as the quicklime to promotion, which meant that, when the Executor died, so also did a disproportionate fraction of the best young and mid-level officers and crewers. The fleet had never recovered from that fiasco. With the Executor's leadership gone, the battle had quickly turned into a confused rout, with several other Star Destroyers being lost before the order to withdraw had finally been given. Pellaeon himself, taking command when the Chimera's former captain was killed, had done what he could to hold things together. But despite his best efforts, they had never regained the initiative against the rebels. Instead, they had been steadily pushed back until they were here. Here.
The Chimera now can't be at Endor, and Pellaeon can't lay witness to the battle and the defeat of the Empire, as documented in Heir to the Empire. Even if Pellaeon is placed at the Endor battle, the Chimera can't be. As for Luke Skywalker, in Heir to the Empire, he is on his way to creating the new Jedi Order, as Yoda foreseen in the Revenge of the Sith novel.
Hidden, safe, the children must be kept. Foundation of the new Jedi Order they will be.
Ben Kenobi shares with the doubtful Luke he is on the right path.
Then I am alone, he told himself. I am the last of the Jedi. He seemed to hear Ben's voice faint and indistinct, as if from a great distance.
Not the last of the old Jedi, Luke. The first of the new.
The voice trailed off into silence and was gone.
When one witnesses Luke Skywalker from the Book of Boba Fett, he is not the first of the new Jedi. He is the last of the old, by adhering to the old Jedi teachings and the dogmatic philosophy of attachments. He gives Grogu ultimatums of staying with Din Djarin, which is the attachment, or become a Jedi, enticing him with chainmail or Yoda saber. This clearly shares Luke is on track to what he becomes in the Disney Trilogy, and sharing Rey is the first of the new Jedi Order.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
Other points that makes an Heir to the Empire adaptation impossible are Leia already had her child, Ben Solo, and he would be about 4 years old during that time. Coruscant is not the capital world, and it fell under crime syndicates during that time frame, as well as Ahsoka not being in the lore of Heir to the Empire. Nogri's homeworld, Honoghr, was not destroyed during the Clone Wars. They weren't tricked into servitude in exchange for restoration by the Empire, and would not know Vader as their savior, thus seeing Leia as his heir. These are just some examples of many that can be presented as evidence to why an Heir to the Empire adaptation doesn't fit or work in the Disney Star Wars faux lore. Many expanded universe fans can and will call all of this out. We face gaslighting by Disney shills with fallacious accusations.
Now, there are going to be EU fanatics out there screaming that it isn't right and attacking Favreau and Filoni because it's like it's like a dog chasing its tail. All right, they really are, and they'll never be happy, so they might as well be ignored. If you can take stuff from the EU and fix what's broken, do it. You don't have to have the entire, you can't do it anyway. Put everything verbatim per word, per book. But this is good news.
Oh, just look at her telling you to ignore us EU fanatics. Jokes aside, people like this do not wish to have a conversation to understand why the EU fans are disenfranchised, why we don't want the EU to be bastardized, why the EU should not be used to fix their errors in their own continuity. In fact, they are using the excuse of the EU being used to fix the lore rather than questioning why the creatives like Filoni can't create their own story. You see, Hollywood has a problem here, writer's block or lack of creativity, so they continue to produce remakes. Favreau and Filoni are just the same. EU fans pointed out Filoni's errors before the buyout and continue to today. Pointing out continuity errors are not new either. If that makes a Disney shill think we are not satisfied, then what was your problem to begin with when it came to the Disney Trilogy? Oh yeah, continuity errors and destruction of the icon characters, you hypocrites. You can be excited to see the in-name only Heir to the Empire on the big or little screen. If it ever happens, remember this. It is a second-hand story that will link up to the Disney Trilogy. Be careful what you wish for.